All right, listen up, everybody. We're all going to get very quiet here so we can begin to read Chapter 4, Part 2. These are very long chapters. My name is Natalie. I'm the Good Shepherd here on our small hobby farm, and we go with the flow here. There's no telling how much I'll be able to read with each chapter, but I am definitely surrounded by my flock, and they do enjoy these moments. They enjoy them so much they start laying eggs and then they get really loud. So we just go with the flow. I love the ways I've learned by being a good shepherd here on the farm. Such valuable life cliches in different real meaning. I had a hen named Flo who was vomiting one day, and I videoed her and I uploaded it to my TikTok, and this video went viral. It was 42 seconds long. I was wearing a fur coat and I was like telling her it's okay to die. 50 million views. What in the world, right? So Flo, my hen, survived that moment, which was a miracle. 50 million views. People were like, that's the worst case of sauerkraut we've ever seen. No way she survived. She did, for 3 more months, happily so, as a house hen. She died peacefully in my arms, and I was able to capture that on video too, and I saved that. I will never change it. It's at the top of my profile on my TikTok. My TikTok account is NCYork73. So, Starla, we're going to be quiet because, listen, Starla, I'm getting ready to read here. Chapter 4, Part 2. There you go, Andy. Starla! Come. I also have my little sick hen out here, Sandy. It's a beautiful day. All right, let's do this. Starla, just stop it right now. I'm tired of it. Cultivating awareness. Don't think. Don't get lost in your thoughts. Your thoughts are a veil on the face of the moon. That moon is your heart. And those thoughts cover your heart. So let them go. Just let them fall into the water. Rumi. We have been caught inside our stories for so long that it does take effort to learn how to see our stories and to discover that underneath all of their noise rests the living moment, the place that is our home. While we all experience great joy in connecting with the living moment of our lives, it soon becomes evident that even with the best of intentions to be present, the tides of thought can easily again capture our attention. The most skillful way I know to become bigger than the endless conversation in our heads is to set aside time every day to strengthen the muscle of our attention, and then to learn how to use it to watch the story that you think is you. I call this a returning practice. Some people would call it meditation. But that word has so much baggage around it. Have-tos, can'ts, shoulds, and won'ts. Calling it a returning practice reminds us this is not about doing something right to get to a better place. It is about returning to ourselves, returning to life. It is about bringing our attention out of our constantly becoming mind and returning it to the living experience of life, gifting ourselves with our own healing intention. A returning practice is a very different way to meditate. It is a fundamental departure from the old paradigm which saw meditation as the act of stopping thought or of creating better states of mind. A returning practice is about focusing on what is right now, rather than about trying to create something different. It is the art of reconnecting with life exactly as it is appearing in this moment, including both the vibrancy of the living moment and the veil of thinking we place over it all. In this exploration, we can then discover that who we really are is that which can see thought, rather than thought itself. Are these called mind twisters? And interestingly enough, I do have to back up because what she's talking about is like how meditation has such a perception. And that's where I began years ago of my own life to redefine life. And where heaven had me begin with redefining life, because you can't just redefine life. What? Like, that's like, I'm going to paint a picture and you expect to paint it in 20 seconds? No, it takes time. So I began with redefining words. I have a list of like 800 words right now. They're words that capture my attention. And I'm always amazed at how heaven has them all aligned in certain ways. It is so important for me to be connected to heaven in the ways that I am, and to continue sharing whatever I believe heaven wants me to. For most of us, the muscle of our attention is flaccid, having been pulled around by the labyrinth of thought for so many years. We can usually only pay attention for a moment or two before thought captures us again. Wes Nisker, who had an ongoing column in the periodical Inquiring Mind, once wrote a humorous piece on the wandering mind called Empty Thoughts on a Full Stomach. The following are excerpts from this hilarious piece that says a lot about how busy our minds are. In breath, out breath. I'm resolved to say mindful this hour. In breath. Just move the knee over a little. There. Out. Breathe. Maybe I should count. In. Breathe. 1. Out. Breathe. In. Breathe. 2. Out. Breath. If I get to 25, I'll start over. In. Breath. Whoa, did I miss one? Can't remember. Okay. In. Breath. 1. Did I just judge myself? Out. Breath. Judging the judging. Oh no, judging the judging of the judging. What a mess these synapses are. Luckily, it's not me. It's just synapses firing. Sin. Apes. Or sin. Snaps. That's cute. Must write it down later. Okay, in, breathe 1, out, breathe, in, breathe 2. Now we're getting down to it. Let me take you down, because I'm going soon, Strawberry Fields. What a great song that is. I wonder whatever happened to Sweet Sue, the park days. Am I less optimistic than I used to be? Optimistic. Optical. Mistake? Or optical? Mystic? That's clever. Okay, time to meditate. In, breathe 1, out, breathe, in, breathe 2. Or is that 3? I've been in the zone for at least 5 minutes. My mind has been destroyed by rock and roll, rocks in my head, and too much thinking. Oh no, here comes my sheep. Oh no, oh no. My mind has been destroyed by rock and roll, rocks in my head, and too much thinking. If that's what you call this stream of lower consciousness, I'm just a smelly chemical stew pot. Descartes should have said, I stink, therefore I am. Got to remember that one. Okay, in, breathe 1, out, breathe, in, breathe 2. Now we're getting the rhythm. In, breathe 3. If I sit real good this hour, then I'll go for a walk. Out, breathe. Or go sit in the dining room and watch yogis. I wonder if that cute girl is with the guy she came to registration with. What great posture and great eyes. Oh, here comes the dirty movies. Forget it. It's not useful, not making me feel better. Lust, lusting, lusted. Hey, it went away. Mindfulness strikes again. Okay, back to the breath. Get serious. In, breathe 1. I could die in the next minute. Out, breath. In, breathe 2, out, breath, in, breathe 3, out, breath. All right, I feel the space in my mind starting to expand. In, breathe 4, out, breath. In, breathe 5, nice, I like it, out, breath. In, breathe 6, a little peace, out, breath. I should sit more often. In, breathe 7, nothing is real, nothing to get hung about. Strawberry fields forever. Whoa. Even though this is humorous, it is not too far away from what we experience all day long, identifying with thought wherever it goes. In order to not always be lost in thought, we need to strengthen the muscle of our attention. This is done by choosing a primary focus, a place where our attention can not only rest, but also return to over and over again when we find it captured in the web of our story. This focusing can be done during our returning practice, while driving down the road, eating or washing our hands. Any moment in our lives can be used as a focusing moment. It is best if the focus, rather than being a word, a mantra, or a concept, is something that we are actually experiencing. It is a wondrous moment when we discover that underneath the ceaseless becoming of the mind are the sensations of aliveness. No matter what thought is doing, our hearts are beating, a symphony of sounds is unfolding all around us and within us, and our breath is continually rising and falling. All of these can be used as a focus as we allow the wandering mind to rest in these sensations. It comes to a place of calm and clarity. I'm here to vouch 100% yes. Anything in the field of sensations can be used as a focus. Sound, our sore knee, the breath. If we choose listening, we can become intensely fascinated by the constantly changing dance of sounds all around us and in us, each one entirely brand new. If we choose focusing on the pain in our knee, it becomes fascinating to see how movable and changeable pain is. If we choose breath, we can discover the joy of riding these rhythmic waves. The focus becomes a sanctuary in which we can rest for moments out of the ceaseless becoming of our mind. This kind of focusing, where we aren't trying to go anywhere, do anything, or become anybody, reconnects us with the living moment of our lives. Whatever you choose as a focus becomes an anchor, a place to return to over and over again. While anything can be a focus, breath has advantages that have been recognized and cultivated for eons. The most basic gift it holds is that it is with us in every single moment of our lives. Each experience we've had since the moment we were born has been accompanied by breath. Feel it now as you read this book or listen to it. Rhythmically rising and falling. It was there when you first learned how to ride a bike, fell in love, showed up for your first job, learned how to swim, or sucked your thumb. And every single one of these breaths mirrored what was happening in your mind. When you were contented and safe, the breath was open and free. When you were caught and struggling, it became tight and contracted. When you were exhilarated, it became rapid and strong. And while you were deep asleep, it was slow and gentle. It is a rhythmic, ever-changing, and wondrously fascinating river to pay attention to. Breath is our connection with life. It is no accident that the literal meaning of inspiration is in breath. Breath is the space in which spirit and matter meet, where the invisible becomes visible. As we learn how to pay attention to our breath, it draws us into the still, clear pool of insight, clarity, support, and love that is awaiting us at the center of our being. Resting in the breath is like diving under the surface of a stormy sea where it is quiet and calm. Breath is also the place when we can see that something bigger than us is in charge of this dance. We are breathing, and at the same time we are being breathed. Just try to stop breathing. Before I began to awaken, I created an illusion of safety by shallow breathing in order to hold back the terrors that I believed life held. I often had a tight fist in my solar plexus as I contracted my diaphragm, cutting off the possibility of a full breath. When I discovered the safety of the living moment, my breath clamored to be free. I remember this 2 years ago in my life. Literally, I was like, oh my God, I'm going through my whole days. Like, I'm productive and fast and boom, boom, boom. And I'm like this. And then I finally breathed. It became clear that whenever I was lost in my old story, my breath would be tight. So my breath became an exquisite biofeedback mechanism. Many states of mind screamed that they were real and absolutely necessary. But all I had to do was notice whether this state opened or closed my breath, opened me to life or kept me caught in the labyrinth of struggle. If my breath was tight, I knew I was lost in my mind. I began to breathe deeply in cars, in theaters, or standing in line at the post office. These moments beyond the restless sea of my mind became much appreciated sanctuaries and began to enliven and heal my body as well. Slowly, breath began to reweave the tattered threads of trust. Rediscovering the river of breath taught me that I was not alone in this process. It revealed to me the rhythm with which universal intelligence orchestrates life. This rhythm is inherent in the dance of the planets around the sun, the ebb and flow of the tides, and the drumbeat of our hearts. It shows up in the music of the seasons, the cycles of birth and death, and our breath. The great sea of life is swelling and receding, rising and falling all around us, in us, and as us. Our bodies are but a small inlet in a great rhythmic sea of intelligence, and we can deeply connect and attune with this sea through our breath. To learn to pay attention to breath exactly as it is appearing is to open a book of wisdom. And as we make a commitment to return to it over and over again, it will take us into deeper regions of truth that exist in the core of our being. As your attention settles in, oh, hold on. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and end right here for today because it's just too peaceful and it's Sunday. And so this is the end of chapter 4, part 2. And I'll resume tomorrow. These are really long chapters. And, you know, I love my life. I love sharing. I love reading. I love painting. I love planting seeds. I love planting plants, trees, flowers. I love talking to trees. I love my flock of farm animals. I love life itself. I love a lot of things. And yet I continue to learn to be in the moment. And so belonging to life, I'm going to go ahead and get back to belonging to my life today, Sunday, March the 22nd, 2026. Bye.